channel. So it is Wear Test Wednesday, and if you are new here, every Wednesday I test out a new product, a lot of foundations especially. We're going to be putting them to the test, applying them, seeing how they wear throughout the day. I'll be doing check-ins and everything in between so that you guys can see for yourself how well this foundation lasts throughout the day. If you're not new here, then you know that already, and I would like to say thank you for coming back and thank you for your support. Oh, and my name is Delana, by the way. I always forget to say that. Cherie's my middle name, just to save you some confusion. Today I will be testing out the Kat Von D Lock-It Foundation. This foundation is old news. It has been around for at least 6 years. Like, I remember whenever it first came out and it was like everyone on YouTube was trying it. Now obviously I have only been serious about my YouTube channel since this past October is what I was about to say. Since this past October, I'm playing catch up. I'm gonna test out all these foundations for you because I just want to be a channel where I can test out as many products for you, and if there's ever a certain product that you are curious about, I want to cover as much as possible so that you guys know that you can rely on me and that I'll have a review or a wear test or something like that. So that is why we are testing this out today, even though this is old news. I'm excited to try the wear time on this. Now obviously I have used this foundation. You can see this one is pretty well used, and then whenever it first came out I did purchase the foundation. However, I do feel that they've changed the formula since their first, which I could be wrong, but I really feel like they have, or I got a bad batch or something, because that first one that I purchased a while back, I did not like it at all. It was really hard to blend, it felt really heavy and cakey, and this formula feels like it's still a thick foundation, but it definitely doesn't feel as heavy, and the other one I didn't feel like it ever set. Like I had to pack it with powder in order to get it to set, but this one is not like that. This one will actually kind of settle down. You still need to set it with powder and everything, but anyways, so I do have two shades because this one is a little too dark for me and this one is a little too light for me, so we're gonna be mixing them together today. So let me give you guys the lowdown on this product like usual. It does retail for $35 and it has a long what it does section right here, so I'm not gonna read all of that, but I've skimmed it and I'll kind of give you the rundown. But first let me read the what it is section. It's a hyper performance liquid foundation with flexible full coverage and up to 24-hour wear, available in 30 shades for a range of skin tones and undertones. And then under the what it does section, it basically just says that it's matte, not flat, waterproof, fade proof, transfer resistant for up to 24 hours, says that you won't need to touch up at all, it's a medium to full coverage, start with a pea size amount, if you need to add more, like a normal foundation. But one key note that I would like to say is that this foundation is vegan, so if you are looking to go more that way, or you just like the idea of wearing vegan products or whatever it may be, Kat Von D's whole line is vegan. So that includes this foundation. And it says that it is also formulated without parabens, sulfates, and phthalates. I'm gonna look under the suggested usage to see if I should apply it with a sponge or a brush. It says to make sure your skin is prepped, smooth, and well hydrated before applying the Lock-It foundation, which they do have a hydrating primer that you could pair with it. I do not own that primer, but I have applied my moisturizer and everything. As you can see, I'm super glowy right now because I literally just applied it. It says to use it with a foundation brush. Oh, but you can also use it with a sponge as well, because it says artistry tip, bounce a damp makeup sponge over skin for a natural finish. 2 droplets of Lock-It foundation is the most you'll need for a flawless full coverage. Bam! There we are. So I have the shades Light 48 Neutral and Light 42 Neutral. I guess we'll just do a pump of each, do an even 50-50. I feel like that'll be good. And I'm just gonna take the back of one of my brushes and mix them together. Just wiping this off onto my neck, and I'll blend that in a minute. But anyways, let's apply some primer. So what primer should I use? Oh, I have been using the Veil primer from Hourglass because I just freaking love the longevity that it gives my makeup, so I'm just gonna apply that to one side of my face. I wish I had the Kat Von D Lock-It primer, but it's really just a hydrating primer, so I feel like you could get away with just wearing your moisturizer. I'm sure it has dimethicone or whatever in it to kind of smooth a little bit, but I don't think it's completely necessary unless you have dry skin. In my experience with this foundation, it does apply better with a primer underneath, like something that has a little bit of a slip to it. It just helps it to spread really easily because this foundation is pretty thick. It's pretty thick. So I am gonna use a buffing brush. I want something that's a little bit like shorter and denser. All right, so now I'm just gonna pick up a little bit. I'm gonna take a small amount at a time since it is very, very full coverage. And I'm just gonna do the unprimed side first, see how it blends. You can feel the foundation kind of grabbing onto the skin, and as you're buffing it, it kind of like pulls a little bit, but it's nothing that's like annoying or hard to blend out or anything like that. Like whenever I very first purchased the foundation, that's how it was. Like I felt like I could not blend it. I was like, you could not move it across the face, but I think they may have altered the formula a little bit because it's way easier to blend than it used to be. But if they haven't altered the formula, I know for sure that I'm prepping my skin differently now, so that could also be a big factor as well. Definitely full coverage, no doubt about that. And then I'm just gonna blend it down my neck because I have some breakouts. Freaking hormones are killing me. It's definitely not gonna fully cover your breakouts unless you take a little bit extra and kind of build it up. And another thing is that the texture of this foundation, I used to hate the texture of it. Like it looked and it felt so heavy, and it definitely still feels like makeup on my face, but it doesn't look near as heavy as it used to look. It still looks like makeup. I mean, it's a full coverage foundation, it's just the way that it's gonna be, but it used to be much more cakey. And this is definitely something that you're gonna want to set with the powder, I would say even if you have dry skin, it needs to be set with the powder. It's just so thick. But there is the coverage. I mean, and that was with 2 pumps of foundation, one of the lighter and one of the darker. And we got full coverage everywhere from all of our face all the way down to our neck. So it's definitely gonna give you that full coverage if you're looking for that full coverage. Like Kat Von D will not disappoint you in the coverage arena. I can feel it, like it's a little bit sticky on my eyes, like I can feel it when I blink, but I think that stickiness and that tackiness is just gonna really help it to kind of grab onto the skin. That's why like whenever you're blending it on, it kind of pulls a little bit, but not to the point where it's like annoying, like I said before. So here is how everything is looking all by itself. So I'm gonna apply a little bit of concealer and do my normal routine, set everything, and if I have any issues, I'll hop back on here and let you guys know. But other than that, I will see you all in my next check-in, and right now it is 10:54, so I'll see you in a little bit. What's up, guys? Second check-in. I just got home from work. Well, actually, not just got home. It's probably been like 20 minutes since I've gotten home because I started cooking because I was like, I'm so hungry. If you don't know already, I'm on the Whole30 diet right now, and it's not easy because you have to cook everything that you make. If you guys would like to hear more about my journey through the Whole30, this is my 10th day doing it, and so if you want to hear more about my journey kind of through that, I would be more than happy to share it with you guys. Just let me know. I'll share with you guys some recipes that I've either used from Pinterest or that I kind of came up with for myself, or that I kind of took a recipe. There have been a couple recipes where I took it, but then I kind of tweaked it for myself. But anyways, to the foundation, it looks really nice. So other than the only place that I really hate it is my forehead. And I get super picky with foundations whenever it comes to my forehead because I do have premature lines on my forehead because I used to work outdoors, and so I was in the sun a lot. And so yeah, I'm getting a lot of like texture and breakup all throughout here. Like it's just really not cute. Overall, I would say that this foundation overall doesn't have the smoothest texture, but it's not like, it doesn't have the smoothest texture in the world, but it doesn't have like the worst texture in the world. It's kind of just, eh. However, I will say from the prime to the unprimed side, like the prime side, especially in here where my foundation tends to start to break up and separate and wear off, still looks absolutely perfect. On the unprimed side, it has started to break up and separate a little bit. I don't think you can really see it on camera, but you can see like a little bit more redness peeking through than you do on this side. And overall, I love the way that, especially that it looks on the prime side, and then on the unprimed side it just looks a little less smooth. It looks like it's worn off a little bit less, like everything in between. So I'm definitely liking it with the primer a lot more, and I feel like part of that is because the primer does give a little bit of like a slip to it. So with that, I feel like it makes the application and the texture even better. So try not to pay too much attention to my nose area. I just put this nose ring in last night and I've been touching this area of my nose, so it's pretty much worn off completely around there. The texture on my nose is looking a little bit dry and textured, but nothing that I hate. I actually got a lot of compliments on my makeup today. Like, I just stepped on my cat's tail. A lot of people were like, oh my gosh, I love your makeup. You look so good. And I'm just like, thanks, it's because I put a super thick full coverage foundation on. Covered my soul. Definitely breaking up a lot on my chin. It's so funny because it's like from here is where it's still clinging on a little bit, and then from here is where it's completely worn off. So it's like unprimed and then primed. See how much of a difference the Hourglass Veil Primer makes? I mean, oh my gosh. Freaking love it so much. That is where we are right now. It has already been on for 12 hours, so this is pretty good for 12 hours. However, all in all, it's feeling like it's not my favorite foundation in the world, but I have been reaching for thinner consistencies and less coverage and stuff like that recently. However, if you're somebody who likes really full coverage, you may actually like this foundation. I just find myself kind of veering away from full coverage foundations as a whole as of late. But this one, if you want like that truly full coverage, it's really nice. One other thing that I wanted to mention was that whenever I was applying my bronzer and my blush, especially my bronzer, it did not go on super easily. Like, and I set my whole face with powder and it still did not go on super easily. So that was definitely due to the foundation, because I hadn't changed anything else in my routine other than the foundation that I was using. And so I just wanted to say that, and I had a feeling that that was gonna happen because of how like sticky this foundation is and thick. So I would say set generously with powder, because I did just do a little bit of powder all over my face because I do have normal to dry skin, so I don't like putting too much powder on my face. But if you can take the powder, you definitely want to set it really well in those areas and then blend your contour over those areas, because I feel like it would make it go on a lot smoother. It doesn't look bad, but it's definitely not my best. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we are right now. I'm probably gonna do one more check-in to end the night, but I need to go eat and let my mind calm for a minute, and then we'll go from there. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, you guys, so it is my last check-in of the day, and I mean, the foundation has worn pretty well. Now, I will say, like, in the areas like under my eyes, around my forehead, smile lines, which my smile lines don't typically bother me a lot unless the foundation is really heavy, and this one isn't that bad. Like, my smile lines are definitely not one of the first things I notice. The first thing that I notice whenever I look at this is the forehead area and all the texture that's going on around here. It's just really settled and separated, and also the texture underneath my eyes. I don't know, I don't like the way that it's made my concealer last, because my concealer does not usually look this cakey, and I don't like the way that it has lasted on my forehead whatsoever, and it has worn off on my chin, but every foundation in the world wears off on my chin. So I mean, does it bother me? Yeah, obviously in a perfect world I would want it to stay, but when it happens with every other foundation, I'm not gonna knock this foundation for that happening as well. It's probably just my body chemistry, like the same way that every mascara in the world smudges on me, except for the Smashbox Super Fan mascara. This one's really good. Like I said before, I did have some issues with my contour and my bronzer blending on top of it. It looks okay right now, but again, definitely not my best work. I definitely have had a better time blending bronzers and contours and blushes and everything on top of this. Yeah, and I just feel like I've gotten pretty shiny, which is fine. I don't mind a little bit of healthy glow, but I don't know, something about just everything in my forehead area, I'm just not a big fan of. Like, it looks so textured here. Yeah, however, on my cheek area, all in here, like even on my cheeks here, everything looks really nice. Like, I'm not seeing any texture here. I know that I don't have a lot of texture in here. Like this is all from my foundation just like caking up. Like it's created this texture. But all in here, it's acted really, really well. Like if it wore this nicely all over, like on my forehead and everything, I would really like this foundation. Do I think it's worth the price? I feel neutral about it because it's not my preference in formula and finish and stuff like that. It's a pretty matte finish. It is pretty high, like very, very pigmented and high coverage. With those kinds of like the super full coverage foundations, they typically are heavier. And so I don't know, it depends on what you're looking for in a foundation. Like if you're looking for something that's super full coverage, is vegan, you know, if you have, I can't even say what skin type this would be good for. I was gonna say if you had oily skin, but I've heard people with oily skin really love this foundation, and then I've heard people with oily skin hate this foundation. If you have dry skin, I definitely highly recommend hydrating your skin very well, but that's with any foundation, but especially anything that's gonna be really heavy and can tend to cling to any little bit of texture. It's not my favorite foundation in the world. Aww. I don't hate it, but I know I'm not going to be reaching for it anytime soon. It looks heavy in some places. It feels heavy. It has coverage though, like sure does have coverage, and if I am needing like full coverage one day, then yeah, I'll definitely reach for it. But it's just, yeah, I feel very neutral about it. To say it's worth the price, I'm like, $35 is on the lower end of high end. So all in all, performance-wise, I would say, yeah, it's definitely better than something that you would find in a drugstore, especially whenever it comes to coverage and pigmentation. It's definitely something better than you're gonna find in a drugstore. However, in terms of longevity, I'm not sure if the longevity is gonna be substantially different from that of which you would find in a drugstore. So that's my long-winded way of saying, yes, I think it's worth the price because I think it's gonna last a little bit better and definitely give you more coverage, but if it's not what you're looking for, it's not gonna be worth the price to you. Does that make sense? So like, it's only gonna be worth the price if you're looking for a very specific kind of foundation. Like if all that matters to you is good coverage and decent longevity, because it definitely has decent longevity. Like my skin still looks very evened out. It's just gotten a little bit textured. So if all that matters to you is good coverage and decent longevity, then you're gonna love this foundation. I don't think that's for most people, but yeah, that's just my 2 cents on this foundation. Tell me what you guys think about it, and if you have tried it, please leave your thoughts and I guess your reviews down in the comments below so we can all help each other out a little bit, as well as like your skin type and everything like that. But other than that, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you found it extremely helpful, or at least a little bit helpful, not even just extremely, but a little bit helpful in all of your shopping endeavors, and that it helps you kind of figure out what might work best for you. If you are kind of like, the foundation kind of sounds good, but I'm not sure, girl, samples are your best friend. Go to Sephora, get a sample, try it out, see how you like it, and yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave, and hit that notification bell, because if you're gonna subscribe, well, what's the point in not turning on the notifications? Because what's the point in not knowing when I'm gonna upload? If you are not new here, thank you for watching this video, and I would just like to say that I really appreciate your support. All of my subscribers mean the world to me. Most of them I don't know. Like, I have no idea who you guys are, so if I've never met you, say hello down in the comments. Like, hello, I would love to like say hi or whatever. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in Friday's video. Bye!